Wars show, everybody. Title pending. Welcome to Gone with the Wind. Cue the music. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the 31st episode of Gone with the Wind. Yes, Star Wars show is already taken, so we can't put that because I just want to talk all about Star Wars because I'm super excited. All I'm going to say is that this made me feel as giddy as I was. I'm not sure about you guys, my esteemed panelists, but I kind of put Star Wars on the back burner for a bit, and this kind of reignited a love I totally forgot I had. Maybe I'm crazy. Let's see what my panelists think. Malcolm and Abe, say hi, guys.
Hi.
Hello, good morning. How are you? I'm not that excited about Star Wars because I'm weird.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. I've had the wrong guy on the podcast. Ryan, where are you? Ryan has other obligations, so he couldn't be on. He's another huge fan of Star Wars, so I'm sad I could not nerd out with him on this one. But wherever you're doing today, Ryan, specifically, have fun. You've worked hard. Now we're bringing Malcolm and Abe into all this action over here. So wait a minute. I forgot you're not the biggest Star Wars fan. You don't hate Star Wars. You're just not the biggest Star Wars fan.
Yeah, I really like the first one. I really like New Hope.
Good.
I like The Last Jedi. Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. Prequels. The prequels are terrible movies.
Hey.
Well, two of them. The other one is fine. Rogue One was fine. The Force Awakens is really bad.
Whoa, really bad. Really bad.
I tried to rewatch it. I really liked it the first time I saw it. Then I tried to rewatch it and couldn't go through it. Like, it was hard to go.
Okay, we're going to have a debate one day regarding The Last Jedi and The Force Awakens, because I think Force Awakens is great and The Last Jedi is not that great. Not for the reasons the internet says, but I have personal qualms with it in the way that execute that story. But we're not going to go there because this is not the podcast for Star Wars show. I lied. And Malcolm, you're a fan, right?
Yeah, I love Star Wars.
There we go. Happy for you to be here. Someone to balance out Abe. Yin and yang over here.
I'm not gonna be negative about it.
I know you're not. I'm giving you a hard time because you're like one of the few people that I know. Scratch that. I know a lot of people that aren't excited about Star Wars, but you're one of the few people I know in this space who is not like, give me the Star Wars.
Over the moon above. Oh yeah. I mean, I've been to opening night of all the films that come, the new ones. So
I mean, we're gonna have to for the show either way, but still. But the trailer, we're not going to talk about that just yet. We're going to put that a little bit farther away. We're going to have a deeper discussion regarding Star Wars and the Oscars and its relationship. Sometimes great, sometimes not so great. But we're going to have a discussion regarding what that means and kind of seeing if this upcoming movie has any Oscar chances to itself. Because we've had a lot of ending of... we've had two big kind of sagas, quote unquote, end this year. So it's going to be interesting to see which one triumphs over the other when push comes to shove. But before we get into that, we had a couple of trailers that are not the big one that came out this past week. The first one I'm going to go into is one that I know Ryan really probably loved. Cough, cough. He hated because it reminded me so much of The Big Short. We have Bombshell, the behind the scenes movie, or not behind the scenes, excuse me. What would you call it? Just the movie regarding the Fox News owner Roger Ailes. I don't want to say allegations because I think they were proven true. So I want to be accurate in my saying of this.
Getting caught as a rapist.
Yeah, but there has to be a word. This is gonna bug me. I'm looking this up.
You know, while Manny looks that up, I have to say this trailer was kind of underwhelming, but I think it was heightened by the fact that we saw the reactions for the film a couple of days before that, which made us think, oh, this is probably going to be good, and now it has entered the Oscar race for everybody. I'm used to getting great Charlize Theron performances in every single film. Based on the reaction, not that much on the trailer, I think we can agree that she's probably going to get the Oscar race, and it's kind of curious because before that came out, remember we weren't sure I wasn't sure that the Best Actress race, and Best Supporting Actress race was so stacked or was not that competitive. But like now with Bombshell and I know Little Women, is getting reactions tomorrow, which we
Yeah.
won't be able to get. So I think
No.
probably we're gonna get that race is gonna get tightened up by those two casts, mainly of women.
Now, I will officially say it is still considered allegations for sexual harassment, for Roger Ailes. He stepped down before they could be further investigated. So I guess this one is going to be, I guess I have to use a behind the scenes look at what happened during that time with Gretchen Carlson and the rest of Megyn Kelly and that entire group. But I will say, I will add into that, I am blown away by the makeup and just Charlize Theron in general. I'm getting very much Vice vibes from this. Very much so. Not only is it a political thing, but you have the main character, one of the main characters, heavily drenched in makeup, giving a performance that I totally didn't think would be that is unrecognizable in a way. And it's very cut, very fast paced, in a way that's akin to The Big Short or, as I said, Vice. Which the trailer itself I thought was fine, but the reactions it has gotten so far since its release have me intrigued. I'm really curious to see how this movie plays out. Jay Roach is a capable director, because from what Game Change showed us. However, I'd like to see how this kind of plays out, because the trailer was kind of all over the place. I'm going to agree with Abe here. So we'll see exactly how that shapes up. But moving along from that, Malcolm, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it was the trailer looked fine. I mean, I'm still going to see this movie. This is one of those ones that it could be a sleeper hit for the Oscars. Who knows? I mean, like as the internet just told me, taste is all over the place when it comes to movies. So, so yeah.
I will say, this could, in theory, fill up that Vice Big Short political film of the year. If the reviews are anything to show about its feelings, but we'll see how well the Oscar crowd kind of eats it up, because this is a different movie than Vice, but similar in some way. So we'll see how that plays out. But are we excited to see this? Because I'm excited just for Charlize Theron.
I mean, yes, because probably it's my favorite actress in I don't know, third and fourth as Margot Robbie, because she's an incredible actress and we've seen it. And from what the reaction has been is that she's the best part of the movie, even though she's playing a fictional character, and they don't know how much will that affect her Oscar chances. But I think in a race that I've said before that it didn't seem stacked right now, I think we have someone that's a contender against Laura Dern and Jennifer Lopez for Oscars.
I still can't believe we're having that discussion yet. Now, I will say, I went to go see... Oh, no, I totally forgot to do... What did we see this week? I totally forgot about that. So, well, let's transition right into that now we've discussed Bombshell. I was going to see Hustlers. I was going to. I kept saying, Abe told me to go see it, and I was going to go see it. But Abominable was an hour and 30 minutes, and it looked cute, so I decided to go see that instead, because I wanted to go do other stuff with my time. So I went to... What was that?
Abominable is meh.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. It is paint by numbers meh. I felt nothing other than, wow, the music sure is pretty. But it is a par for the course kids movie with some nice themes interladen with it. But it could not rise above its kind of childish nature. And I was like, what time is it? In an hour and 30-minute movie. Yeah, I was disappointed.
So does that mean it'll be the Boss Baby next year and they'll get nominated?
Listen, if this in some way, shape, or form gets over How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World, I'm going to be livid. There is a far superior DreamWorks film this year, and it is the former. Okay? It is How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World. Okay? Oscar voters, are you listening to me? Please, please, please watch How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World. Ignore Abominable. It is cute, and your kids will like it. But there is a superior film. Thank you. That is my plea as I grab my computer.
I've been meaning some extra will be funny if people could actually see that.
They could, but this isn't. I might just cut it to show that part. Malcolm, what did you see this week or last week?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see it. See much, but I did get to see Zombieland Double Tap. This is a very fun movie, and it kind of makes me wish that Academy will give more love to comedy movies because the cinematography in this was great. It's like just seeing how they've crafted each scene and sort of the way they sort of have the sets done and it's just incredible. I would never expect it to be nominated for the acting because even though the acting's good, it's not better than some of the stuff it normally does get nominated. But I'd love to see it get nominated for some below the belt, but I don't think it will.
And Abe, what did you see?
I concur with Malcolm with Double Tap, which is a really fun movie. I think it's at the same level as the first one. I think it's like you just cut the first movie and then we start watching the. I think it's as funny as the first one. I think every character delivers in a way. I think the new characters are great. They're really funny. I don't remember the name of the girl, but she is really funny.
Madison.
And I also. Oh yeah, that's the name of the character. Oh,
yeah,
Madison. I think the actress I was,
Zoe. No,
Zoe Deutsch.
Thank you.
That thing. Also, I saw Maleficent, Mistress of Evil.
Oh boy.
Which I gotta say, I hate the first one. I think the first one is one of the worst films I've seen all decade. And I have to say, I was kind of entertained by this one, and especially because the visual effects and the set design. I believe the director is was a art director, or something like that, which I think that's why it was like that. The movie looks beautiful. I think the visual effects are stunning. The story not so much, and it has Angelina Jolie and Michelle Pfeiffer. Very capable. They are really great actresses, which kind of bring out the film. And also, she would tell AJ4 was in this film. He's there like for 5 minutes, but how did they get you to be in this film? Which was interesting. And you saw other movies I saw, at The Addams Family, which is terrible. Well, bad, not terrible. And Gemini Man, which is entertaining, mediocre, but entertaining.
Listen, yeah, a lot of movies came out this week where I'm just like, I just don't care. I haven't even seen the first Zombieland. I need, apparently though, from what I'm hearing, I need to, including this and Double Tap. It's a double feature.
Yeah, for me it is.
Okay. All right. I will definitely take a look at that. Oh, so quick question though. Abe, Gemini Man, that's nothing. Nothing's going to happen with that, I'm guessing.
I have to say, the visual effect, like the clone, the CG clone, actually look pretty good the majority of times. Usually when it's in sunlight, like you can actually tell, but it actually takes place more like in the dark and he's in the shadows, which actually seems really good. I wasn't taken away from it. Like you get accustomed to it. It's fine. It's better than most that I've seen. Like, I know it's been 3 years from Tarkin in The Force Awakens. Yeah, it was. No, was it Rogue One? Right, Rogue One.
Yes.
Yeah. So that looks way better than that. I think the visual effects in it are great, but other than that, no, I don't see anything with it.
Okay. Okay, well, moving right along from that, going back to the trailer discussion, we're going to talk about The Report now. The Report had a second official trailer show up, and I wanted us to kind of go see. Now, the most of the talk coming from this is mostly either, kind of some stuff, high marks about the screenplay, Adam Driver, but most stuff is a possible supporting actress discussion regarding Annette Bening. Do we like what we see, gentlemen?
Yeah, this trailer looks interesting, and it's definitely one that I can't wait to watch. But I think potentially there could be a few Oscar things out this, because as we discussed before the show, there's so many movies coming out on streaming that could potentially be up for Oscars next year.
Crazy,
which is crazy, because you've got Dolomite Is My Name, The Laundromat, The Two Popes, Popes.
Irishman.
Yeah,
This.
that.
Marriage
Yeah,
Story. It has to be more, right? Like Amazon or something.
Oh, Honey Boy, Late Night. I don't know.
There's the King.
That's true. Yeah, there's a lot more in comparison to last year, which last year it was kind of like Roma.
Roma.
Cold
Roma.
War. Cold War. That was Amazon. But other than that, I'm kind of blanking on.
Yeah.
There has to be more, but those are the ones that kind of pop to mind. I will say honestly though, this trailer, I'm super stoked for this trailer, namely because this was a big discussion, at least we'll say, in the US of A for some time. And I'm really curious to see the behind the scenes of how this actually took place and came out. And I'm always down for a nice political thriller set in real life, because who doesn't love revisiting open wounds in forms of media where we can kind of examine ourselves, because that's what movies kind of are in a way. And of course, Adam Driver and Annette Bening, I am always for. What say you, Abe?
I mean, the trailer looked fine. I was interested in the film already because of the cast, especially about Adam Driver and Annette Bening. But you're talking about Annette Bening getting nominated for Best Supporting Actress, which is what's been predicted. Yeah, she's probably gonna get nominated, but is she gonna win? I will say probably not this time. It's gonna be the sixth time, and it's gonna hurt because Hilary Swank took two of them.
Yeah.
I don't know how she won in 1999. American Beauty, one of the greatest films of all time. But
what did I know Hilary Swank beat her for American Beauty with Boys Don't Cry. But she what did she beat her? What did she beat her for $1 Million Baby? What was that?
Let me check. I don't remember, but I know she did lose twice too.
That's actually kind of hilarious and horrible at the same time.
Upper Range, Being Julia. What's the year of? Oh no, Being Julia. Being Julia.
Being Julia. Why does that sound familiar? It's like I'm blanking. All I can think of is Julia and Julia.
I mean, yeah, she was nominated for that. It's setting that there is London. The film involves stage actors and their experiences with love and revenge. Directed by, I won't even try to pronounce his name. It's Van Zappel. I don't know. Director of Sunshine. But that's it.
Oh, okay.
Her last nomination, what was the one with Julianne Moore and The Kids Are All Right, something like that, right? That's
Julianne Moore. Still Alice?
No, Annette Bening's last nomination.
Oh.
The Kids Are All Right, right? With Mia Wasikowska and Josh Hutcherson.
Wait, did she get nominated for that?
I believe so. She's great.
Certain woman. Or certain women? No, that's not it.
No. 20th Century Woman.
The Kids Are All Right.
Yeah, that's it. I was say the Kids Are All Right. Like what?
I've been telling that name for a while.
All right. They're all right, guys.
You know, that movie's fucking hot. But continue.
Wait, what did you say?
Keep going.
Did I hear that right?
Yes.
Did Okay, all right. This just got a check mark on the explicit. Oh boy. Moving right along. As for news goes, it's been a lighter week, but the Middleburg Film Festival in Virginia had just wrapped up, and we have an audience award winner. Anyone want to know what that is?
Jojo Rabbit.
The Two Popes.
Oh my God! Really?
Yes, really. The Two Popes, starring Anthony Hopkins and Jonathan Pryce, received both a standing ovation at 2 screenings that it had, and ultimately taking the audience award at its both sold out screenings. So, there you go. The Two Popes is looking mighty fine at the moment to be a real crowd pleaser.
you know that my hard thing with the two popes is like it's a Netflix movie, and Netflix has two other big
Yeah.
horses in the race. It's like how much time are they gonna spend in that one? Because I know they have chances in all three at least to get some nominations. At least, well, at least three, four, maybe four nominations for each one. But like, Best Picture probably is not get in, even though it may get nomination for two acting awards and a screenplay award. Same as what's the name of the film that I don't remember. Fuck.
I can't help you there.
Oh no, something still.
All right. Any thoughts, Malcolm?
I mean, the two popes sound the two popes sounds like an interesting movie. I mean, I think it's potential that it could get a little bit of love at the Oscars because, like, there's precedent out there that if a movie sort of gets a People's Choice Award at film festivals, there's a chance it could easily slide into getting a nomination, which means it's probably good things for JoJo, like the Jojo Rabbit, Joker, and the two popes. So I mean,
Oh yeah.
it could be interesting. We'll find out if that pays off really early on next year. So.
Oh no, absolutely. Yeah. The more this doesn't necessarily mean anything. This means more it's getting the exposure that it needs and that people will actually like it. So I'm really looking forward to this because Two Popes, I'm excited for because I heard about it a long time ago and I'm actually really excited to see just how it's going to turn out. All right, those are that's the news. Not much in that way of things. But did you guys hear that the final Star Wars trailer came out yesterday?
Confronting fear. It's the destiny of a Jedi. Your destiny.
So
Did you guys hear it?
I think I might have heard
Oh,
something. There's a lot of craziness on Twitter about horses and
Space horses,
swords.
Malcolm. Space horses. Called Orbox for those who did not know. I really want to know if they've named it after Jerry Orbach, but I don't really have any proof to say otherwise. But no, the final Star Wars Rise of Skywalker, Episode 9, for those keeping count, has finally come out yesterday, by the time we were recording this, which is a Tuesday. And I will have you know, I was excited. But then it came out, and I was kind of waiting at my computer screen for an hour, waiting for it to actually drop, because I'm not watching that game. I'm not watching the Patriots. I'm sorry. For those who know, I live in the South. You do not like the Patriots in the South. You do not
You
like
live
them.
in Carolina, right?
Don't tell everybody. Yeah, I do. I live in North Carolina.
Were you conscious when they lost the Super Bowl to the Patriots?
Moving on from
I mean, do you hate Peyton Manning and the Broncos?
listen. No. What's my name? What is my name?
Manny.
Say my name. Say my name,
Okay.
Abe.
And
No,
do you
listen.
hate Von Miller?
Say it
I
again.
mean, I know it's not football.
Wait.
It's not. You like football?
Yeah, I would say so. Fine enough. I'm not okay. Tangent aside, I'm not the biggest football fan. I'm part of a fantasy league, but have I checked the fantasy updates at all? Absolutely not. Okay, I have other stuff that I want to do with watch football, and that is watch this trailer 10,000 times because that's what I did. Dissecting this over and over and over again, listening to Forstone, listening to some other people just talk about it because I am all about this. This is my bread and butter when it comes to Star Wars. Sorry, Abe, that I'm gushing about this. I am so on board with this. Just as a side note, as a fan in and of himself, I found it incredibly fascinating. Just the way that this was cut. This was cut in a way that just kind of really set the tone of, hey guys, this is the last film in the saga. So be prepared. I still have utterly no idea what's going to happen, and I am thoroughly pleased with that. I can't put things in a narrative standpoint like I usually can with some other trailers. So this is exciting because there could be multiple ways this could end out, because of course they're going to end up, it's going to have a happy ending, but will be a bittersweet type of happy ending. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how J.J. Abrams manages to create this one, because we all know the last Star Wars movie he did was this close to getting an Oscar nomination for Best Picture. It had the momentum, but it just missed it on a lot of some ends, which we'll get into that discussion a little later. But I want to go into Malcolm first. What are your thoughts on the Star Wars Rise of Skywalker final trailer?
I thought this final trailer was fine. I mean, I preferred the trailer that came before this more.
And dropping Malcolm from the call. Kidding, go ahead.
I mean, it's one of those ones like I kind of wish they'd given some kind of hint in what the direction of the actual movie's going. There's a lot of shots, and I was still hyped for the trailer. Like that, it didn't sort of do any disservice to my hype. It just sort of my hype was already up here. It just kind of just plateaued like that. So I mean. So it didn't dip. It just didn't do anything to increase my hype even more.
Okay, maybe it's just me being the blind fanboy that I am when it comes to that one, because I have a New Hope poster. I'm not sure you guys can see right here. I mean, it's audio only, so you can't.
The people cannot see, but we can.
I know. I'm not thinking about that, but I do have a Star Wars New Hope poster above my bed, next to It's a Wonderful Life. 2 favorites right there. Okay, Abe, what are your thoughts on the final trailer? Someone who's not initially, whatever verb descriptive you want to use, excited about Star Wars in general as a property. What did this trailer do for you?
I thought this trailer looked beautiful. I really get excited with films, especially blockbuster films look like so well colored and everything. Like they pop anyway. Like I love Marvel movies, but I have to say they're pop correction and everything else. Not that good, but like talking about Star Wars, I think that looks great. I'm really excited because if something I like about the Last Jedi is the relationship between Kylo and Rey, and I want to see how that ends. And that showdown at the end looks very interesting. Oh, very excited! Is like, I think I'm exaggerating, but I'm excited to see what comes from it. I think I was not a fan of the Force Awakens. I did like The Last Jedi, so it's like 50-50 for me. It's gonna pass or not. I think JJ can be a really great director. I mean, especially with those Star Trek films. His Mission Impossible is good. Mm-hmm. And what else has he directed? Super 8. Super 8. I like the first 2 Star Trek films. Super 8 is fine.
Did Lost, but that's not.
He did Lost, but I'm thinking about film especially.
That's what I'm trying to think about too.
And that's it. Mission Impossible, Super 8, Star Trek. Yeah, but I think if he has a great script, he can work with it, and it's gonna bring something about the Star Wars. I was really curious about the Emperor in the film. That got me reading some theories online, which I don't know if we can talk about it, but that will be interesting.
At this point, they are all theories. They are all speculative. There is nothing concrete about them unless, of course, you're going to some Reddit thread where this person has posted the spoilers. So I don't know where you found it, but feel free if you have interesting stuff, because we have time. This is going to be a shorter episode for those who don't know, kind of discussing after this just kind of the Oscar chance it has and the relationship with Star Wars and the Oscars. So if you guys want to go into that a little more, Abe, feel free to talk about that, because I'm genuinely curious about what the Emperor is doing there as well, too, because coining this from Force Center, Mecha Palpatine, because that's not a Force ghost. That's a robot.
Mecha Palpatine, like Mecha Godzilla.
Yeah, because that was he was in a device of some kind going toward Rey. So what does that mean? I don't know.
Do you think he was really dead?
That's what I don't know. Like, is he a Force ghost? But Force ghosts, usually Force.
I mean, but I think he survived.
That's what I think too, which is kind of unfortunate, because then
he wasn't injured at the end of. I mean, he was thrown from it, but he was not injured falling, and you have someone as powerful from him, and he's not able to, stop a ball from a really long distance. It's like, what are you doing?
I mean, he's obviously in some capacity, because that's from what we've seen from the side profile. He has like wires coming out of him, and he's sitting in something.
So he's injured, at least.
At least.
Yeah, because I mean, I never thought it was going to be a Force Ghost anyway. From what I understood, like for even though we've never seen a Force Ghost on the Sith side of things, I was already under the impression there was always for if you're good and all that. Like,
No, that you're right. However, this would not be the first time we will see things happen like a la Leia saving herself in The Last Jedi, Superman style in space. Stuff like that can be rewritten all the time. So I would have been like, okay, he's evil. He has a grudge. He ain't dying anytime soon. So I would have bought that 100%. But I guess apparently Force Ghost Palpatine or Evil Force Spirit Sith Palpatine, whatever. I'm still excited though because you're right, Abe. It looks utterly gorgeous. Holy cow. Like, I got goosebumps just looking at the images. Like,
Also, I think John Boyega and Oscar Isaac, like their chemistry in screening those films, it's probably my favorite part. Like in The Force Awakens, my favorite part of the movie is the beginning with them. And I'm really excited like they're bringing it back together. Because in The Last Jedi they didn't spend that many time.
Nope.
I think that looks good. I think it can really be a fun movie. I don't know if the whole world is as excited like it was for The Force Awakens or anticipating it like The Last Jedi because of what has happened to Star Wars. But with The Mandalorian coming out in just a couple of weeks, I think people are going to start getting hyped up and then they're going to get their Star Wars. And as Oscars a chance to just say,
no.
I mean, The Force Awakens got a Critics' Choice nomination after it was released. So if this movie is great, like literally almost perfect.
Yeah, I am psyched because this, as you said, the Kylo Ren stuff is probably the most fascinating thing from The Last Jedi, in my opinion. And I'm excited to see that play out and see how that dynamic shapes up because Rey could be a really, really cool character when all is said and done. Rey's good, but she could be a real standout character after after the Rise of Skywalker. Now I have to ask though, everybody, does this have any sort of Oscar chances? Because as I was saying prior, Avengers Endgame was the other franchise ending, quote unquote, film that came out earlier this year and has already done gangbuster numbers. You look back over, there are movies that have done gangbuster numbers that have made it into the ultimate, quality aside, other stories, I should say, have made it to the Best Picture nomination. You look back at Avatar, story, fine. It made it upon the groundbreaking technological marvel that it was. You go back to the original Star Wars from 1977. That made it not because the story was revolutionary, but the way that it was told with the groundbreaking visual effects and just the groundbreaking nature of itself, making it in ultimately. I think these are all great movies, but not because their stories are revolutionary. Not because the acting is the best thing you've ever seen, but because they do stuff in interesting ways. Now, that being said, this has competition in that department with Avengers Endgame. Do we see this if this has the same acclaim and less backlash as The Last Jedi, more akin to The Force Awakens? Can this get a Best Picture? Because The Force Awakens was this close. And if not Best Picture, what other stuff does it have besides maybe like a visual effects? Free reign. Go.
But yeah, I think we're going to see it get a few below the belt categories. I'm making it a thing, but
of course you are. Go ahead.
but I think only one will probably make Best Picture, and it will most likely be Endgame, if anything. Because I don't think, with the way the Best Picture race is at the moment, I don't think there's room in the Best Picture race for two, if maybe three, like movies that fall under the geek categories. Because I mean, you've most likely got Endgame in there. Joker's probably going to slide in there as well. I don't think we see Star Wars get in there as well. I mean, also, I'd say that if it does well, if it gets a lot of big hype with big out near the end of the year, maybe we could see it, but it's really close to the end of the year. With the Oscars nominations coming earlier, then I think that's going to maybe only leave it in the below the belt categories.
No, I do agree that it has the potential because it's so close to the actual time, and it'll be in people's minds. What do you think, Babe?
Has it a potential? Yes. But the thing is, as I just said a couple of seconds ago, it needs to be like a great movie. Like it needs to satisfy everybody. It needs to satisfy audience. It has to move people. Because if you think about it, like let's say it's as huge as The Force Awakens, okay, or a little less. You're thinking Oscar nominations usually come out January 20th, say per se. So nominations are gonna be like. So ballots are gonna be due like ballots for nominations, whatever. It's gonna be due like on the 13th, let's say, or something like that. So Star Wars can still be dominated a conversation for people like that. Like if it's as great as it is, I think I think we're gonna see nomination for visual effects, sound design, sound editing, sound mixing, and sound editing, and score. John Williams, like the music for the trailer was spectacular. One of my favorite parts of it. But it depends on the hype because, as Malcolm said, like the Oscar race is gonna be tighter now. Now, if you think about it, it's gonna, let's say that they screen the movie on the 13th. The movie comes out on the 20th, right? On the 14th, they're gonna have like about a month of campaigning before nominations are due, and I don't know how much Disney cares about it because now they have Fox in the race, even though it's different companies. The money has to be moving there, and it's hard to think about it unless the movie is great and moves people. And as Malcolm say, like we do these for Oscar races, but we usually like we talk about it like Bombshell and you compare it to the big store and buys like there's one spot for each genre or something, and that spot if it's taken, I think Avengers Endgame it's gonna. I don't know if it's gonna get nominated, but I can tell you that I'm pretty sure. Not because I have sources or anything. It's gonna get like into AFI top 10 just because of the significance it has, like for the culture and everything. It's like
which I was gonna add. Like I totally agree with that because The Force Awakens was a cultural like phenomenon. Because when's the last time we had a Star Wars movie? 2005. So 10 years later, we actually got a Star Wars movie to come out. Well, if you count the Clone Wars movie, let's not. An actual Star Wars movie to come out, that kind of was a cultural touchstone in of itself. And while it got close to getting Best Picture nomination, it got AFI, it got critics. Did it get PGA? I thought it.
It might have.
Because it got a lot of like there was a chance for it to happen because it got like. It got the most nominations for the Oscars since A New Hope, which that is still saying something. That's
the thing is, do you think, I don't know, like I don't think like there's any performance in the Rise of Skywalker that may come out like it's gonna serve as a catalyst for the campaign of Adam Driver as best actor right now. That's gonna be the main asset of the like if the movie is just fine or okay and it's not as hated, I think it's gonna be the main catalyst for Adam Driver to get that Oscar for Marriage Story.
Yeah.
That's gonna help his chances. Other than that, I don't think so. It's hard to like it needs to be almost perfect, like satisfied for 100% of the people.
Who'd have thought Adam Driver, guy from Girls, and then Kylo Ren could be might be an Oscar winner by the end of by the beginning of next year. Who'd have thunk that?
I mean, he's a great actor.
He is, but you don't. Would he be considered the first actor in Star Wars to win an Oscar if he did? No, there has to be someone else, right? Right.
Benicio del Toro.
Oh, yep, that was right, because people were like, that's the first. Yep, okay, never mind then. Just kidding. Throw that statistic out. And it did not get nominated for PGA, so it missed that. It got AFI. It got some other. Did it even get? Yes, it did get AFI. Got a critics nomination when they pushed back the critics vote just because of this, which that was a big hullabaloo. But The Last Jedi only got 4 nominations. which nothing to sneeze at whatsoever. And in fact, it's still akin to close to the 5 that The Force Awakens got, which is still very good. The only considered above the line that it got was film editing, and that's still not above the line. That's just more than sound. No offense to sound, but and so at this point, it kind of just depends on how this one is received and what potential that it has. But all right, so basically what we're looking at right now, we're going to get in a consensus about this. I'm going to name something out and what you guys think is most likely to happen. Do you think we're getting one for Best Visual Effects, a nomination for Rise of Skywalker?
Yes.
Yeah. It's like by default.
Because Star Wars has never missed outside of Revenge of the Sith for visual effects, which is the weirdest thing ever, honestly. Because those are still some solid effects.
Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi didn't get nominated for visual effects either.
They didn't, really?
According to the page I'm looking at, they didn't get nominated for that.
Wow, I could have sworn.
I think it's more
I
like
was looking at a Wikipedia page, but
no, that sounds that sounds. I believe you. I'm just kind of shocked that that's the case. Wow. Okay. But
did Solo get visual effects?
Say it again.
Did Solo got visual effects?
Solo did. That was
Yes.
the only one Solo got nominated for.
Yes, which
if Solo can get nominated for visual effects, the Rise of Skywalker can't even do it. Like,
yeah. Just from the trailer alone, that's getting visual effects.
Personally, I think Solo should have gotten sound or something as well, but
definitely not cinematography. Sorry, Bradley Young. That's not cinematography. It's too dark. Turn up the light.
Which means visual effects is going to be a tough race next year because you're bound to have Endgame there. I'm pretty sure Ad Astra is probably going to get nominated.
Oh, it better. It's great visual effects.
Gemini Man,
depending on if people forget about it.
Which means the Fonz prediction about the space movie always winning, it's going to make it funny. It's like, will it be Star Wars or Ad Astra?
Which space movie wins this time? Because First Man and got its love there. Okay, all right. So film editing, does it have a shot there?
The
movie's great.
Yeah, that one's probably tough to say at this stage without having seen the movie. But the recent movies have been mostly well edited anyway, so I'm not going to be too surprised if it gets nominated.
Now, what about the sounds, mixing and editing?
Once again, the sound, for sound, I dare say that sound it's usually pretty good, especially when it comes to the droids and stuff.
Yes.
And if what we saw in the trailer is indicative of the sound mix that we're going to get in the finished product, then I think it's got a shot.
Now, I will
what's
say,
the one where they create the sounds? It's editing, right?
What was that?
What's the category where the sound is created?
Editing is creating it. Mixing it is.
Yeah, I think it has more of a shot in mixing than editing because Star Wars sounds are so ingrained into us that it's not like, oh, this is new.
Now, that being said, Rogue One got nominated for mixing but not editing for some strange reason.
Because what I told you. I think that's one of the memories.
But it didn't editing, which is the weirdest thing, because that's the creation of sound. And mixes the aromas or the stars.
How well composed the sound is. Can we talk about that Star Wars for just a second? That's one of the best sound mix movies I've seen in a long time.
It is very well sound
mixing, and fucking Bohemian Rhapsody got that up.
Bringing that back. Let's do it.
Continue.
Let's not forget.
Sorry, I just wanna rant a little bit about that again.
Listen, that thing won film editing. I will let you over some other fantastic films that are out there, like Cough Cough First Man. So I will never forgive this movie for what it did. And man, Bohemian Rhapsody won 4 Oscars, guys. Let's just sigh a second and despair. Oh, okay. All right. Wait. All right. I wanted to clarify this. I wanted to clarify before I waltzed around at the moment. Because the statistic I'm currently looking at. All right. So it does say Revenge of the Sith is the only film because they say, oh, the last 2, Return of the Jedi and Empire Strikes Back, got special visual effects achievement awards. So, yeah, that's why I was like, I believe you. But at the same time, this is also contradictory to what I'm reading. So, technically speaking, they didn't, but they did. So, take that with what you will. But no, yeah, it's... yeah, it only got... Revenge of the Sith only got 1. But then again, Star Wars has always at least gotten 1 Oscar nomination. And I think its best shot is visual effects. But makeup and hairstyling, I don't think is going to...
It's like... Well, it's like by default. Like, if you want to bet something at the beginning of the year and a Star Wars movie is coming out, visual effects.
For real, though.
Okay. Why? Because probably the old people in the academy say, "Oh, I remember watching the first one in the theater, so I want to give my vote to that one."
Oh yes, I remember the Star Wars. I'm going to do that.
Your elder gentleman impression is way better than mine.
Like, oh yes, of course, the Star Wars.
No, you sound like Gollum.
Wait, what?
I don't know.
Like. No, I could be. No, this is like speaker over here. All right, now we're getting way distracted from this. Okay, so Last Jedi, The Force. No, The Rise of Skywalker. There we go. What? Okay, now each go. Malcolm, what do you think The Rise of Skywalker will be achieving at the end of the day? Throwing it out there. This has no barring to your ultimate final predictions, but what do you think it has the possibility to get? Now, I'm going to say 4. I'm going to set the bar at 4 Oscars, above or below or just right.
I'm going to say just right.
Okay. And what of those 4 you think would be the possibility of it getting?
Probably visual, the 2 sounds, and maybe score.
Sounds about right. And Abe?
I would think 3. Same as Malcolm, but without 1 sound. Just 1, I believe, editing.
Okay, just 1.
You know what? I see a shot in cinematography because the movie looks beautiful from what we're seeing, but it's not a best picture contender for what we're talking about. It's hard to see that. Same as editing, but yeah, I feel confident with 3.
Yeah. Don't forget also, Force Awakens also got the nomination without Best Picture, so there is a shot. There is a precedence, but I do agree 4 at this time. And I believe it also both sound. I believe it is score because they love their John Williams. The Book Thief will tell you that. And then probably visual effects, just because visual effects is the easy one. So those are the consensus, and maybe we can throw in a possible production design. That might throw in there depending on what type of real sets they use, because they like their practical stuff. That'd be interesting to see. All right, so before we quickly move on to our final discussion, I will say Star Wars is coming out this year, and it's the final one. I'm super excited. I sincerely hope that the vitriol surrounding The Last Jedi has maybe died down by this time, because Star Wars is something that should be enjoyed and loved, and I know I'm going in with 100% no baggage going in. It's one of those few movies that I watch without a reviewer's critic's mind in my head. And so I sincerely hope we can all go into that, for those who are fans of Star Wars, into one of just pure lighthearted fun into the spirit that it was meant to be taken. So for all those watching, thank you, or listening, I should say, thank you. Now, Star Wars and the Oscars. It's been a very interesting thing for Star Wars and the Oscars. We'll make this a shorter discussion because we kind of dived into it a little bit. The Oscars apparently loved A New Hope, but not really anything else. Maybe also The Force Awakens too, to a degree. Definitely critics loved that Disney money. Haha, jokes. But it's been a tumultuous relationship with the Oscars in particular. Now, I will say the special achievements have been there, and Star Wars has always been a technical marvel. Do you guys see it as anything else outside of the technical marvel that it is? Like, do you think on another given Sunday it could have actually won Best Picture back in 1977 against Annie Hall and Turning Point and all those people?
Look, Manny, I told you at the beginning that I love A New Hope. I think it's a wonderful film. I fell in love with it the second time I watched it. However, as much as I love A New Hope, Annie Hall is just an incredible film. And it's hard to think about.
Is it?
It is. It
Okay.
is. You know, it feels familiar because of everything that came after it and you probably saw before that. So if Annie Hall was the first romantic comedy you watch, you will say, "Oh, this is fucking great." It's the same with When Harry Met Sally.
But I will counteract that with saying also it's the first because we've seen it before. Something was done that was done at the time. The same can be said with Star Wars. That kind of set the precedence for the summer blockbuster / hero's journey in a different way than Jaws was, because that was 2 years beforehand. And it has a much more cultural impact, I will say. Plus, Annie Hall, I don't know. I'm not a Woody Allen fan by any stretch of the imagination as a person or as a filmmaker by any stretch. So, and I know you like it. I know because that was on your list that we did a while ago. But I say, just because it's a possibility, if you ask someone to this day, an Academy member who may not have been alive in 1977, which one would you give it to, Annie Hall or Star Wars, as it was called back then? Which one do you think would be the more plausible answer?
Can we move this conversation like to 2016, 15 before that whole Me Too thing?
Yes. Okay. We'll move it there. Move it there.
I think people will still go to Annie Hall.
Okay. All right.
Like, because at the time, well, maybe today, Star Wars, but at the time it's like, okay, what I'm gonna, it's a conversation. It's like, it's the Moonlight, the Godfather over Cabaret. It's the Moonlight over the La La Land. It's even though Star Wars was a small film, like it's like $11 million or something like that. It was a small film.
Yeah.
It's like, which one do you? It's the personal story. Even though Star Wars is like the perfect example, The New Hope is the perfect example, a hero's journey and anything. But it's like Annie Hall had the performances, had the script, had the. I mean, you're gonna tell me with a straight face that Annie Hall's script is worse. It's better. It's not better than Annie Hall. Like the dialogue, the acting, the everything. I mean, the Queen is. I mean, visuals and everything in filmmaking, sound and everything. It's just part of it. It's like without it, but at the end, the Queen is just so part of the story, which I think Annie Hall like it to explode. It's better than Annie Hope as much as I think Annie Hope is spectacular.
Well, respect to that. Malcolm, anything you want to add to, I guess, the generalization of Star Wars in 1977?
I mean, I think if the voters that we have now for the Oscars were around in 77, I think there's a chance that Star Wars would have beaten Annie Hall, but it would have either been that or we would have had the earlier version of the Moonlight La La Land situation. So
maybe not. We'll see how good they are at if they see Warren Beatty. If as long as they get Warren Beatty and what's Faye Dunaway to do it, then we would have the same exact thing. But no, they definitely did love. They loved Star Wars back then. It got sound, it got art direction, production design as we know it today, film editing, visual effects, costume design. I believe it also got us special award, special achievement for Ben Burtt himself for the creation of the alien creature and robot voices in Star Wars. And then it also, no, that's it. That was the only below the line. Now, I will say, now hear me out. Annie Hall, I can get behind. But for George Lucas to not get Best Director, splittings didn't happen often back then. But if there was today, I think the split might occur there for Best Picture in comparison to Best Director. That's just a thought that might happen because we see a lot more splits nowadays, specifically for films that are a lot more technical marvels, a la Gravity and 12 Years a Slave. You look at something like that, maybe La La Land and Moonlight.
I will get behind that.
So we're all that George Lucas has an Oscar. We're all happy. Everything's squared away. Bob's your uncle. All right, but then again, 2 years later, or 3 years later, pardon me. 4 years later. Wait, 1981. Yeah. Okay. Wait.
See, talking about Empire Strikes Back,
Yeah,
4 years later, 1980.
I can't count, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot count. There we go. All right. I'm trying to think, see how many that it actually got nominated for, which was, it got a Special Achievement Award for Best Visual Effects. By that time, it only got nominated for 3 Academy Awards, which is a dramatic shift from what it once got prior with how many did it get nominated for? 10? I believe it got nominated for 10 awards.
It won 7, right?
It won 6 at the time. Yeah, 10 nominations, and it won 6. And it got nominated for 3 only following, when some people still consider it to be the best of its time. The Empire Strikes Back.
At the time, it wasn't.
That's what. But then I was just about to add. At the time, it wasn't. And again, do you think that might change its reception now? If we're looking back in 2015, 2014, around that time, 16, whichever, do you think that reception might have changed by then? And do you think we would have a lot more love for The Empire Strikes Back? Maybe not a win in Best Picture, but a lot more nominations for stuff that it didn't get nominated for. Because it only got nominated for it only got nominated for
visual score and sound.
Because I'm looking at the wrong one. That's why. I was looking at Star Trek. That's definitely not it. Okay.
Answer your question about the Empire Strikes Back. Let's say the movies were received in 1980. I do not see it getting a nomination because it suddenly became a commercial brand. I'm sure it's not The Godfather, but it was not like directed by. Well, Coppola didn't have a lot.
Yeah. Empire Strikes Back was nominated for score, production design, and sound mixing, plus the Special Achievement Award for visual effects because they didn't have any other nominations apparently.
They were like, "Here, take it, go."
But I looked it up. And it was just random. It's like that and Return of the Jedi. Those years is the only one that in between those movies with 3 other movies nominated for visual effects. So either they decided to make a Special Achievement Award for those years because why not? But
yeah, why not?
But I think the first one I think is like because it's something they've seen, and then before it's like the sequel came out, I think, and then I think that's kind of where this whole not so much blockbusters have been nominated idea kind of started from, is because I think if you go along looking at all the other sort of big blockbusters, like none of them got nominated since then until probably about Return of the King, maybe. I think.
I mean, it depends on what you consider a blockbuster.
Well, I mean, yeah. What I was thinking is like the big
That's another discussion for another day.
Yeah. I think what I'm getting at is the geek property movies than anything.
That's the thing, that there was not geek. I mean, it's a whole other conversation.
You know it today. It was. It wasn't as mainstream as it is now, quote unquote.
Yeah. It's what I was trying to get at.
I gotcha. We gotcha.
Because for Return of the King to be the first sort of that caliber thing to be nominated since Star Wars, I don't think there was anything between that which that was nominated. That
also, you have to consider the time between the films. Like 3 years may not seem a lot, but like for the conscious, like, well, it's 3 years is a good amount of time, and which Malcolm is comparing like Return of the King, and you go the what's the name of the first one? Oh my God,
Fellowship.
Fellowship of the Ring came out in December, then the Oscars on February, then da 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 da. 6 months happen, you get a trailer in the film, and then you get the 2 hours, and then you know what's gonna happen. So the conversation around those films, like it actually helped. You will have to guess like what will happen. Sure, I don't think Empire Strikes Back or either Return of the Jedi. Like even though I'm not that much of a Lord of the Rings film fan,
Just keep talking.
one,
Keep talking, Abe.
it's like I don't see them at like the technical level or achievement or like ground. I don't know. I don't want to say groundbreaking storytelling, but like those epic they're not like in epic proportions like there is. Like just imagine what would happen if there will be 77, then you hold 78. Uh, that what's the name of that? The Empire Strikes. You know,
Yeah,
I'm really falling behind with those names of films.
it's okay. Keep going.
Yeah, I mean that comparison is actually, it does work, because when you look at even though Lord of the Rings was pretty much a year apart anyway, um, if you take the original trilogy and Lord of the Rings, pretty much the same sort of thing happened, because with Lord of the Rings, the first one got nominated lots of times. Two Towers got barely anything at the Oscars. Then Return of the King came back and got more, even though it's not the same with Return of the King. Return of the King still didn't get a lot of nominations anyway, but the second one still, in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, didn't get a lot of nominations, and yet some people do consider that to be the best one of the trilogy.
No, yeah, I was about to add upon that. Looking back at the entire trajectory of what was going on, Return of the Jedi got 5 nominations, incomparable to The Force Awakens. However, 83 was incredibly weird because it had all these categories that we don't have now. So by proxy, you can get rid of some of the other ones and kind of transfer them in, blah, blah, blah. Probably have like 4. So just kind of how the Star Wars seems to have had this tumultuous relationship where it's very genre based. It's very set in a particular thing until Lord of the Rings, I guess, broke that genre bend. It's never had the capability. Easily the closest one that ever came to winning is the one that was nominated, A New Hope. Everything prior has not exactly had the same amount of oomph. So the Oscars have never exactly been... They've never been the films that have reached the Oscar caliber as we know them today. Definitely the prequels were not. Force Awakens was not. Rogue One was not. Solo, Last Jedi was not. And I don't think Rise of Skywalker will be the same in terms of Oscar caliber.
Can you imagine the chaos that would have happened if one of the prequels won the Oscar for Best Picture that year?
There is an alternate universe where instead of the Razzie, it won the Oscar. I'd like to go visit that and see exactly how that kind of world plays out.
I mean, it would have beaten what's 99 is Return of the Jedi, right? Oh my God, those names! It's Phantom Menace.
I gotta say, you mean 83?
No, 99 is Return of.
It's the Return of the Phantom Menace. Yes.
Yeah, the Phantom Menace. So that's American Beauty. No way it's gonna happen. 2002.
100% not. 100%.
2002. No way it's gonna be Chicago.
Nope.
I love that movie. In 2005, well, there's a conversation. You know that Crash film? No one.
I mean, Revenge of the Sith is the one that I argue is the best of the prequels.
Oh, 100%.
And I actually wouldn't be unhappy if that did win, but they never had the chance. I was never going to have that
100%
chance.
never had the chance. I will say, do you ever think Star Wars because we know there are other films coming in the future. They're taking a break for now, and the Skywalker saga is probably done, but we'll get more films in the future. Do we ever think there is a possibility that Star Wars wins Best Picture? Or, let's make it a little easier, gets nominated for Best Picture again?
It will have to happen the same thing as The Force Awakens. 10 years without Star Wars, just because Disney say, like the movies fell for some reason, which I think hard to happen. But let's say 10, 15 years without Star Wars, and then they say, oh, we're gonna make a new one, and it's just another phenomenon. Like now the fans that were created in 2015, now in 2035, I don't know, whichever year could happen. It's gonna be I took my kids to see, but I don't think they wouldn't have the same impact because now the kids are like into Avengers movies and everything. Those are their Star Wars, so it's hard. But I will see it, like as I say, the movie had to be perfect. To get it like
really perfect.
Yeah, I figure it's also gonna depend on sort of what else is released around that time. Because if it's anything like this year, when you've got Avengers Endgame, which is ending a section of the MCU and tied that all up, and you've got so many other sort of big Oscar winners that is going to overshadow it with the small amount of time it has to make an impression on the voters, then it doesn't have a chance. But if if it comes out in a year like A New Hope did, where there's a good amount of competition, but not a lot of sort of big franchise-ending movies, then I'd say it may have another chance to be nominated for Best Picture again. Because now that we're extended to 10 nominations, there's probably more of a chance that it can get in if there's not a lot of sort of big
other movies in its way type of thing.
Because I mean, quite often there's so much precedence out there for franchise-ending movies to potentially get nominated as well. So
yes,
and especially
go ahead, Abe.
And especially when you have like as much Star Wars as we're getting right now, it's hard because like let's see, Mad Max Fury Road came to mind right now. Like you have this film that it's really different and maybe not the greatest story of everything, and it gets Best Picture nomination because it's just rocking at all the levels, and I think it has. For me, I don't know how at least the one didn't get nominated, but like just imagine a Star Wars film that it's just as. I mean, not as Mad Max, but has a different taste for Star Wars, and let's add a performance like out of the world from one of the characters, which I don't know if Star Wars can stretch you enough as an actor to.
Well, they're going to have to go to the same reason that the superhero films are going to have to evolve as well. And we saw with Joker. Star Wars, in order to survive, or survive is a wrong word, in order to diversify itself, it's going to have to try some different things. Maybe it's more intimate stories like that. Obi-Wan movie we may have gotten would have been really fascinating just to see kind of a character study, something a lot more intimate if they have any possibility. Or they go big all the way, and it's just this spectacle of a film that has been a touchstone, as The Force Awakens and A New Hope were at their time. So we're going to have to wait and see. I'm going to call it now. Unless the movie is phenomenal and people can't stop talking about it out of the Star Wars fandom, I don't think it's getting Best Picture. I'm calling that now, and you can take that to the bank. Unless we are starting to hear things otherwise from people outside of the Star Wars fandom. But that's me. I think it gets 4 nominations. 4 nominations. Final buzzer. Malcolm, how many nominations for Rise of Skywalker?
4.
4? All right. And you're still on 3, Abe?
Yes.
All right. Do I dare go to 5 to be different? Nope, I'm sticking to 4. That's too risky. Too risky for now. All right. Those are my final thoughts. Those are our thoughts on Star Wars when it comes to the Oscars. It's going to have to do some... We're going to have a break after The Rise of Skywalker, and I'm truly excited to see exactly what we have in store, or what's in store for the saga following this, because I love Star Wars, and as you can tell, that is something that I am passionate about, just as much about the Oscars, because I like it when stuff I like overlaps. So I am excited to see what the next chapter is for both Star Wars and just kind of the rest of the Oscar season we have for the rest of this year. And I have an announcement. Drum roll, please.
I don't have anything.
We are going to weekly now. Hooray! Now, this whoop 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 whoop. Now it sounds like the Death Star. Burn, burn. I am excited. We were waiting to do this for a while until stuff actually started to happen, because this week don't have too much to talk about because we're kind of centering it around one trailer that came out and took the internet over. But I have a schedule that is currently lined up at the moment, and hopefully with more organization, we're going to push through, make them a little shorter and digestible for people, but at the same time enough content to fill up. So instead of cramming it all into 2 weeks of stuff, going back to weekly is the first step into that, and I'm excited to see next week. I won't spoil what it is, but I will say it's going to get real spooky. It's going to get real spooky next week. So everyone brush up on your horror.
I'm thinking about my ex-wife.
Abe, you've never been married. You can't fool us, sir.
Just kidding.
And I will add, I'm excited to see, we will have Ryan as well when he comes back next week. But again, watch some Oscar movies if you want to watch along with us when it comes to horrors, like The Exorcist.
Silence of the Lambs.
Silence of the Lambs.
That's not an Oscar movie. That's not a horror movie.
Close enough. Get Out. Just kind of, you know what? Just watch a whole bunch of highly acclaimed Oscar films, and we'll kind of get into the discussion. Is all I'm going to say.
Horror flicks is pretty much the same thing, really. Like they can't come into the same banner.
Exactly. That's why there's a big correlation between the two. Oscars love their horror films. All right, prepare for that. It's been a great week with you guys, or 2 weeks, I should say, because it's cramming into 2 weeks. Malcolm, where can people find you?
You can find me on Take 3, hosting Rankum every Sunday. And to continue with next week's apparent horror theme, the Rankum episode is going to be horror movies from 80s and 90s. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I also do Braggateers every Sunday, usually, and the Extras race is heating up. So go vote. The poll is on the page somewhere. And you can find me on Full Metal, hosting Full Metal Randoms, and yeah.
And who's your favorite Star Wars character, Malcolm?
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Smart choice. Abe, where can they find you, and who's your favorite Star Wars character?
You can follow me on Twitter at AbrahamF25, where I don't post nothing. My favorite Star Wars character, no kidding, has to be... I gotta say Chewie.
That is an excellent choice. This trailer made me realize, man, I love Chewbacca. But sadly, he's not my favorite. It is also Obi-Wan Kenobi. Hello there. You can find me on Twitter at Cine_Man. That's CINE_MANN, as well as here hosting Gone with the Wind on Take 3 Productions. And of course, you can also find me on my personal YouTube channel, Manning Franks. You cannot forget it. And Abe, are you doing the Star Trek sign over there for a reason? Okay, and you can find me on my personal channel at Manning Franks, where I post video essays and of the like and stuff along those lines. This next one is a video essay regarding Neon Genesis Evangelion. So those who are excited about anime, get excited about that. Thank you all for watching the 31st episode of Gone with the Wind. We will see you next week. Abe, what are you doing? Gone.
Trying to make...
Gone with the Wind. Thank you all. Have a spooky, spooky week.